Welcome to A View from the Tower, a weekly radio magazine devoted to the people of Mount Union College. Join us as we talk with some of the very special faculty, administration, alumni, students, and friends of Mount Union. I'm Matt Smith, and together we'll discover the tradition, a tradition of excellence at Mount Union College. Throughout the program, we'll be highlighting events on the Mount Union College campus for April 19th through May 3rd. On Wednesday, April 22nd, an honors convocation will take place in the Mount Union College Theater beginning at 10 a.m. Then later that evening, the College Concert Choir will perform at 8 p.m. in Presser Recital Hall. Coach Greg Perini recently guided the Mount Union College men's swim team to new heights. He took a moment of his busy schedule to talk with us on this week's View from the Tower.
Coach Perini, can you explain to me the current success of the Mount Union College swim team?
I really feel like the success of the entire team was a culmination of a year-long plan that both the swimmers and myself derived at last fall. We decided that we were going to strive the best we could to become the best possible swimmers, the best possible team that we could. In large part, our theme became a commitment to excellence, and that's what we strove for. It's a cliche in so many ways, you hear it so often, but I think the success of the team was a result of our dedication to that goal, to become the finest swimmers that we possibly could, to realize our potential as individuals.
Specifically, what about the success currently at the Division III Swimming and Diving Championships?
The men's team reached a number of firsts this year. In particular, and I think most significant, the men's team became the first team in NCAA swimming history to be a top 20 team to move up 10 spots in 1 year. We moved from 20th place up to 10th place this year. Unfortunately, we disqualified our 800 free relay, and that would have probably popped us into 8th place, but we walked away having done something that no team in swimming history had ever done before. Similarly, Sean Whitaker and Sean Malaki became the first two backstrokers in small college history to be under 53 seconds in the 100-yard backstroke, and that's, again, a first for a small college NCAA team.
Specifically, what about Sean Malaki? How much has he contributed to the team?
Sean's been synonymous with Mount Union swimming for the last 4 years and has really become the forefather of our future success. He's the foundation upon which the success of this program has been based, and I think it's a tribute to Sean that that Mount Union used to be known as just a one-man team, a one-man show at nationals, and is no longer that way. The younger swimmers have taken Sean on as their role model and the person they want to model their swimming and their commitment from. And so Sean has really been the springboard for the whole team's success this year.
The Mayor's Commission on Aging will be held in the Alumni Room at the Hoover Price Campus Center on Friday, April 24th from 8 to 10 a.m. Yost Osborne, Mount Union College historian, took this opportunity to talk with us about a little history at the college.
Welcome to the Mount Union College Historical Series with Yost Osborne. This is Yost Osborne, librarian of Mount Union College, talking to you about the past on the campus. If you were assigned to write a pen sketch of Mount Union College, how would your description read? Here is one excerpt from a description written over 100 years ago by a student for the Literary Advance, at that time the campus paper. It was a monthly publication, successful in every way except financially. It flourished for 2 years, 1870 to 1872. Listen to this student's sketch from the first issue of the paper, December 1870. Dear brothers and sisters at home, parents and patrons, hundreds, or is it maybe thousands of you have never seen our goodly city or beheld its temple of learning. Come, I will bring you all here on my pen. If you live east or west, come on the Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, Fort Wayne, and Chicago Railroad. If north or south, on the Cleveland and Wheeling Railroad to Alliance, the crossing of these two great highways. Stopping at the fine depot in the rapidly growing young city, we are a little more than a mile from the seat of the college, the village of Mount Union, which lies just over the hill to the southwest. If any of you are fatigued, you can go up, for it really is up in Grimes' bus. The rest of us will perform the journey on the boardwalk, which connects these two cities. We will go along Main Street, the business center of Alliance, a half of a mile westward to Union Street. Here, turning square to the south and ascending a hill, we have our first view of the village of Mount Union and the college. About a mile before us, and still more elevated than we, rises a circular belt of woods, and just on the hither side, extending a half-mile east and west, is Mount Union, the shade of trees along the streets rising in many places above the houses till it looks as if the forest is marching down through the village, or else the latter advancing into the former. Beautiful for situation is Mount Union, the city of our college. That huge building at the right that seems to overhang the whole village, even as the dome of St. Peter's overhangs Rome, is the college. He means Chapman Hall, a great quadrangular structure of brick 3 stories full above the stone basement with plastered walls and battlemental towers at each angle. Come around to the south and we will pass in through the arched doorway of the front entrance. The great bell is just pealing forth its summons. Hundreds of young men and maidens are gathering. With them we go up to Chapel Hall in the second story, a spacious room well seated where all assemble at the beginning of each day's work for religious exercises, report call, and miscellaneous business. When the chapel business is over, Professor Chapman says, adjourn to recitations. The class in physics goes to his room just back of the chapel on the same floor. Across the narrow hall from this room is a laboratory containing a great amount of valuable apparatus illustrating the natural sciences. Passing back through the chapel, we find a class under the guidance of Professor Osmond, acquainting themselves with the art of speaking and writing our noble English language correctly. As we pass out on the left, we see the room of ancient classics. On the right, the room of modern classics. In the first, the genial Professor Clark presides. In the other, Professor Scherf. Across the hall is the writing room, with beautiful designs and specimens of penmanship, all executed by the pen of Professor Armstrong. Immediately adjoining is the commercial and actual business department under the superintendence of Professor E.N. Hartshorn. We will now go to the museum if we can find the curator, who is always glad to accompany visitors when not engaged in other duties. The collection of objects of art and science is always open, free to the public. And now to the boarding hall, he means Miller Hall, that large 3-story brick building in the other part of the spacious campus. Here we find the musical department occupying some 6 rooms, each furnished with a piano, in one of which Professor Leland is giving instructions to all, such as play upon musical instruments of any kind, while in the other students are practicing. You are getting a little weary, but you must wait till after tea, for this is Friday evening, and the Republican and Linnean societies will meet at 5:30, each in its own large, well-furnished hall on the 3rd floor of the college building, and you shall hear such a musical and literary treat as very few communities enjoy free every week, for they are always open to the public, and it is a matter of competition between the societies to see which can attract the largest audiences and entertain them best. Dear friends, I have tried to bear you along with me and to enable you to catch a glimpse of our place and of the spirit and operations of our college. Good night to you all, safe in your homes again. This has been Yost Osborne, librarian at Mount Union College, talking to you about the past on our campus.
WRMU's Diane Flowers caught up with Mount Union's Dr. William Coleman to discuss the college and higher education.
Today I'm speaking with Dr. William Coleman, Associate Professor of Speech at Mount Union College. Dr. Coleman, how did you come to a small liberal arts college like Mount, coming right out of Ohio State?
Well, I taught at a branch. I graduated from Ohio State and taught at a branch campus for about 2 years, and looked the situation over, coming from a large university, and I came to the conclusion I really wanted to teach. Most of the time, when you go to a large university, the emphasis is on research. And through the years as a teaching associate, as I was working for my degree, I had many good relationships with students and really enjoyed the classroom. So about that point, I decided it was time to get out of the major university system and to come to a small liberal arts school where teaching is emphasized.
The word growth is often used to describe the advantages of a close community which Mount has. Is growth really what this is all about?
Oh, yes, I think so. I think taking a student as a freshman and watching them grow both intellectually as well as socially, I think is something from a professor's point of view, you can see that happening. Whereas in a large university, you might have a student one time, and that would be about it.
What about the student-faculty relationship here? Do you think it's a good, open relationship?
Most students feel comfortable to go in and talk to their professors. And I think we do have very good relationships. I think you see a lot of that on our committees. Many of our major committees have student representation. For example, the Academic Policies Committee, which really is in charge of all the academic programs and the curriculum, has 2 students that sit on it and who have votes out of, I think there are 7 votes on the committee. And that's unheard of in a lot of schools.
It's obvious that we see Mount Union as a close-knit, warm community in which students feel welcomed and relaxed enough to allow the growth process so important in these years. But, Mr. Coleman, can you name one really unique and distinguishing characteristic of Mount Union?
I think I can answer that with one word. I think people. I've been very impressed with many of the students here in the 6 years that I've been here, and I've been very impressed with many of the faculty. Through the years, I've become acquainted with some very outstanding young people and some very outstanding professors, and I think that's our strong point. I know many of our students are going to be leaders in business, in government, and some of them are going on to teaching. But I think that's our strong point, the people that are here, both students and faculty.
From this interview with Dr. Coleman, who has seen both worlds, it has become clear that a small liberal arts school does in fact have advantages over a large university, and, in particular, Mount Union College has unique points of its own which further enhance its value. With a view from the tower, this has been Diane Flowers.
All of the events listed in today's program are open to the public. For further information concerning any of the events, call the college at 821-5320. Once again, the number 821-5320. You have been listening to A View from the Tower, a weekly radio magazine devoted to the people of Mount Union College. A View from the Tower is written and produced by the staff of WRMU FM under the supervision of Station Director Charles R. Morford. Continuity and final production by Matt Smith. The preceding program was a presentation of WRMU FM, a service of Mount Union College in Alliance, Ohio.